All right. So, despite the best efforts of the universe, we have gathered together from our far flung sites across the galaxy to play a little bit of Alien. So, we have been talking while I've been racing against time to cross the country. And we have decided that the Marines, left to their own devices, are going to try to go where after visiting LV-223?
We are in the mood for some fajitas. So we're going to go to New Galveston.
Going to go to New Galveston.
Baby.
So, normally at the beginning of a session, we would talk about the experience points, whether or not you have spent them, but there are some extenuating circumstances this time. That being, you staged an escape from the Montebello in the stolen Mantis, piloted by Jumper, to make your way to an abandoned and partially destroyed system control station that we remember from mission number 1. From there to liberate more hypersleep pods and install them in one of the Mantis's cargo bays. From there, another short jaunt to LV-223. There really isn't time for the training and teaching required in this system for using experience points. And then after that, you'll be entering hypersleep, and for you, no time will be passing. So save your points, gentlemen, and against survival.
Let's be clear. We weren't stealing the Mantis. We were taking our Mantis back.
Good. Good. All right. So none of these particular tasks require anything in the way of rolls from Marines trained such as you are. This is a milk run from Jumper's point of view. It's a simple installation from the Comtech's point of view. The Mantis is specifically designed for a multi-purpose role. So nothing particularly untoward is required, except possibly on LV-223, right? Where we needed to locate the future site of the colony, which is designated as a mine, and power up the equipment. Power up the equipment and send your message. Right. Now, this message would then follow a set of relays, and it would take time to get where it's going, but much faster than you can in the Mantis with its slow FTL drive. All right. So what I need to represent this quickly is from Kaminski, assisted by Rios, if they're going to work together, or resisted by Rios if they're not going to work together. I need a command roll to make this particular leg of the journey work.
All right.
Yeah, I will assist. At this point, we got to stick together.
Okay.
So
your difficulty for this command roll is 2. We are resetting stress to 0. And it has been 1 more day since last we played. So you're 1 day closer to the recovery from your critical injuries.
Okay, I have 1 success. I'm guessing I could push that, right? Roll the rest of the dice. Roll the rest of the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it pushable in this setting?
Yeah.
The penalty means something, right? So, all right, so let's do it. Let's take the stress and there you go. 2.
Okay. So here's the thing. It should have been easy. It should have been setting down at the typical coordinates, where they would put a colony. But what we're discovering as Jumper's bringing us down through the atmosphere is that there are signs of civilization here. Right? There are obvious stone structures in plains, right? Not so much in the mountains, not so much by the oceans, but in the center of land masses as you're coming down. The readouts are indicating that there are structures, right?
And I'm guessing none of this should be here, right?
Well, it's certainly not Weyland-Yutani design. It's not using modern metals. It's not on the surface. It's of the surface, right? So we're seeing shapes that resemble buildings, but according to the sensors of the Mantis as it's coming down through the atmosphere, it doesn't register as any different than what it's sitting on, right? It's made of stone and earth. But it's very obvious on the readout that it is a man-made or handmade object, right? It's got straight lines. It's got perfect curves. It has symmetry from building to building. These are not natural formations by any stretch of the imagination. So she begins to slow the descent, right? And detects wreckage. Okay. Of a fairly large private yacht.
There you go. Shipwreck.
So I thought this place was supposed to be uninhabited. This is the site of a future colony. Those look like local construction. There's some alien race here that we aren't aware of.
That or these people coming here for whatever reason had a shipwreck. And
yeah. I mean, those are obviously some colonists or some private enterprise, but the rest of the buildings must have been built by locals. Yeah.
Is that Lim's ship? Is that what we're seeing here? They crash here instead?
It's a yacht. It's a yacht.
Well,
the Mantis doesn't have a sophisticated enough sensor suite to give you a lot of detail. So it's kind of guessing by weight class, right? There's enough material impacted on the surface to be within this range of ships, and most of those are, cargo haulers, civilian cargo hauler, civilian yacht, civilian, system patrol craft, this kind of thing. So,
well, we should try to land as close as we can to the communications array. We have a job to do, and then we can find out what's going on here, see if they need help.
Motion detectors are not registering, as you're passing across this plane with the wreckage and these identical buildings, right? There's no motion.
And there's no radio signals or anything.
Right. You're not detecting signs of SOS or background communication or any of those things. It's just like any other uninhabited world that you have been dropped on.
That's even more worrisome. A shipwreck colony that's not hailing us like crazy when we fly in. Yeah, we gotta get this job done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to pull up on the computer information. Do we have a date of when they established this colony, like when they actually first broke ground, showed up? How long has this been here?
It's been designated as a colony.
It's a future site.
Right.
Site. And so what that usually means, what the protocol usually is that an initial cursory survey of a zone has been established and emergency equipment has been deployed because, accidents happen.
Right.
Hey, Rios, do we have a sense of where that zone was and how that compares to these structures?
That's where the confusion lay, was that this is where that zone should be.
Okay.
Like, the Goldilocks zone on the planet, very nice temperate area, not too tropical, not too cold. And this is what you found instead of a beacon, instead of a ferrocrete landing zone. There's this here, these ancient artifacts.
And Sarge, do we know where the comms array is relative to this?
That's what we're looking for. Can do our sensors detect that?
So the stress is beginning to build, right? This is a very alien proposition. Jumper and her co-pilot for this mission are working with the sensors to trying to home in on the beacon that should be there, right? And they're finding it very, very faint, and it's hundreds of miles toward the equator, right? And she says, stay here, Sarge, or just hit the beacon.
I'd say we hit the beacon first. We need to get this signal out. After that, might be worth looking. But abandoned colony in this sector. Let's just say I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, no movement or signals of any kind. Who knows how long this has been here?
Okay. So it doesn't take long to travel this great distance, which would take days for you to traverse on foot, as you can clearly remember from LV-426. Not very.
Oh yes.
Ago.
Yeah. No need to go back to that.
Except this moon has a very comfortable atmosphere for human life. It's largely temperate, right? It does have polar ice caps and the rest, but it has normal looking vegetation. You see things that register in your mind as trees. They don't really look like trees, but your brain is telling yourself it's trees, and there's grass, and there's moss, and there's boulders, and there's sunlight, and there's mostly blue sky with a slightly greenish tint. And there's pools of open water, and it's a much more hospitable place than LV-426.
Low bar, Anthony.
If you were to choose a colony site.
It seems much better than LV-426. Yeah.
I don't know. This could be a good place to retire to, Sarge. I like the people. Just my kind. None. All right.
So once the Mantis has reached the coordinates, you find what you expect to see visually, right? There is a small research building, right? Exactly like you found on LV-426, right? It's open air construction. It has a roof. It has spots for windows and doors. None of these things are sealed. There's a landing zone prepared, and there is equipment which is sealed up against the environment. On LV-426, the environment just did away with all of that protective sealing over time. But here, the far more peaceful and harmonious environment, it all seems to be fine. The weird thing, the thing that makes it difficult, the reason why Kaminski has to push, is that the communications tower, which seems to be totally fine, right? Structurally coherent, is that around it there is what looks to be a lake of tar or a pond of tar. Too far to jump, but
What the hell?
This is around the building itself or around the
around the
entire...
communications tower.
Does
Like
it
a
also
moat.
look constructed?
I don't know. Like, it's not in a concrete pool or pond. There's no lip.
Right.
It's in a natural depression.
Okay. Are there more of the natural building type structures in this area?
No.
No.
And any motion around here?
And no motion.
And how far are we from the Goldilocks zone?
A couple hundred miles.
This is very strange.
But the atmosphere here is
Yeah.
at least survivable.
So you've moved from a beautifully temperate, winter's not so bad, summer's not so bad area to a more tropical zone where it's going to go from, hot in the winter to uncomfortably hot in the summer.
So
How wide is our moat? The area of tar.
She hasn't landed yet. You're circling. You're in the air.
Yeah.
Right.
But it looks, you get a feel, from your physicality that it's too far for you to jump. Maybe too far for you to do a running jump. Certainly a standing jump is out of the question.
Well, if she can, maybe she can hover above it and we can rope down, air assault.
Yep. You can do that stuff in your sleep.
Yep, let's go do it.
Saddle up, boys.
All right. So she, the Mantis is an incredibly stable craft, very large craft. So she brings it in over the communications tower, and the comtechs are able to rappel down to the cupola, the cupola on top, and begin the process of activating the equipment, checking the power, and getting it set to broadcast.
How long is that going to take?
Not very long.
Oh, they picked a weird place for that, but just be careful. Hold this craft steady there, Jumper. These guys are delicate flowers.
Does it look like this tower was built on an island in the middle of the tar? Or does it look like bombs fell or something around the place?
It looks, if you had to describe it, like they built on top of a gentle hill.
Okay.
And parts of their construction have settled into the hill. So all of the buildings are in depressions, but this tower has filled up with this black liquid.
Okay.
I don't like this, Baxter. Take the smart gun and keep overwatch. I don't know what's going on here.
You want me to shoot the tar?
No. Just be on the lookout.
No problem, man. Yeah, I'll be happy to shoot anything, but yeah, this is wacky.
Oh. Makes you wonder, no, if maybe some of those xenomorphs could survive under that tar.
Yeah.
You're a cheery fellow.
Is it
Like
some
at
sort
the
of
big bucks.
seismic activity, or is that like volcanoes and stuff? Could that be the ground becoming unstable? I don't know. That's
so the Mantis is full of Marines, right? Some of them have access to viewports, some of them don't. So there's this scuttlebutt going back, like, where are we? What are we doing? Why are we hovering? Why are we holding here? And whispers are coming back and forth. And Kaminski has to send two guys, down into this unknown environment, right? Like, have you brought them to another planet where they're all going to die? Right.
Probably. To be fair.
Yeah. Right.
That's what you signed up for, kids.
The jury's still out on that one. Yeah. We still don't know.
But then they signal. Okay, Sarge, you're ready to transmit.
Hit it.
Right. So what is your prepared message? What are you broadcasting to
command?
To the USCMC command?
Well, as much as we reasonably can, right? About the xenomorph and about Baxter's friend, Tennant.
Okay.
We probably will send a picture of Baxter with his closed caption.
All right. So a verbal transmission detailing the xenomorph, Lim's involvement, Tennant's involvement.
Correct.
And the events of LV-426.
Right. Like bullet points. Not an impassioned thing. Like bullet points.
Okay.
You gonna send them all that damning stuff about Weyland-Yutani too, Sarge? Or you gonna leave that for later?
Oh, I'll send it all because we don't. This, for all we know, Tennant is in pursuit, and he might figure out the places we can go to.
Okay, so you're going to send all of the data that Lim transferred you.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Okay, and I'll tell whoever the contact is handling this. I'll say, I'll tell them to hold a copy of that message in our local buffer, right? So that we have a copy of it physically with us in the Mantis. Timestamps and date stamps and whatnot, because we don't know if that message is getting intercepted at some point or not. So might at least keep a copy of what we originally wanted to send.
He flashes back. Sure will, Corporal. I don't want to go to jail either. Baxter, could I have a perception roll as you're hanging out there on Overwatch?
Observation, sure. Okie dokie. And I am not
Baxter's in the gun well,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe I'm not actually stressed yet. So let's see. And I do get,
One. You can't be certain. Not completely certain. But either the broadcast tower is sinking or the black, what's a good word for it?
Ooze
is climbing.
Oh, Sarge. Yeah. Get them out of there, man. Like, can they just push a button or something like that? Either this thing's sinking or the goop is rise at the top. Something's effed up here.
Marines, you got to get your shit done and get back on board. Let's go.
And I'm like kind of just moving the gun around. Like, what do I point at, man? What do I point at? I'm kind of pointing at the goop at this point, and it was like, but going back and forth, just
Baxter, do you have a sense of how much time they got?
I don't know. Like yesterday? Come on, man.
All our troubles were so far away.
So far away. How long does it look like? Am I seeing perceptible movement there?
It's hard to tell. You're hovering. It's in the shadow of the craft, but you can see the data progress meter.
Oh yeah.
And then they say that they're done.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Let's get them up.
All right, boys, come home.
All right.
Everything's fine.
And that is your experience on LV-223. Unless you choose to stay and investigate further.
Oh, come on, man.
Sarge, I really want to. Yeah, I really want to see if anybody needs help over there, Sarge.
Let's go.
In the crash site?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, I'm just going to pop around right into the goop after these guys all go up. Just for the hell of it.
Yeah, feet first, because that's your,
Just one round. Just a pop.
Okay.
What could possibly?
So you direct Jumper to take the ship back to the crash site.
Yeah, let's go to the crash site.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Land or continue to expend fuel in
And if we're gonna be extended exploration of stuff, we gotta land.
Yeah.
Do we see any of the goop?
Right. Just one flyover to see what the best landing site is and to make sure there's like maybe place that there's no goop to land.
Right. See if the wreckage is covered in goop.
Right.
Yeah.
From the air, no obvious goop. You do a survey. There's a long line of these buildings, right? And a lot of curved lines. So they're domed. There's layers of domes. There's curvature. There's only one entrance, right? And in front of each entrance, there are two spherical stone structures, right, of different sizes. It's the only asymmetry present in any of the construction.
Might be older than the wreck, Sarge.
Yeah.
And with this comment, it maybe clicks for a lot of people that the base of these domes looks exactly like the ship, the wrecked ship on LV-426. Two command modules of differing design in a ring, right?
And are the structures, the size of the structures, are they like what human refugees would build, or do they look sort of larger?
I think the rest of the structures, because he's saying
the man-made.
They look ancient, weathered,
Okay.
by storms and just time, but a similar degree of weathering as the pyramids.
Okay.
Right? They just look ancient because they are ancient.
Yeah, archaeologists. Leave the archaeology to the archaeologists, man. Let's just see if there's anything, any survivors from this yacht, and then get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we've got to be careful because there's another of those ships. Now, hopefully, it doesn't have any of the xenomorph infestation, but
not just another. Each of the structures.
Each of them. There's a ton of them, is what you're saying.
And now, on the survey of the cockpit control panel, you can see that the Mantis's plotting has demonstrated that they're all in a line following, a parallel, right? They're all perfectly following a planetary parallel.
Yeah.
Oh.
This must be some sort of landing, like a hangar or something for these ships.
Look,
I will now give all of you a stress for your brush
with this strange
monumental alien culture.
There's certainly no signs of recent inhabitants, so I think that we should keep this short and sweet, Marines. But let's take a quick look. Baxter, let's test out your new hooves. You're on point. We'll have Rio second leading the squad, and I'll be at the back with the motion sensor.
Right on, man. You want me to wear shoes, or you want me to clink every other step?
Whichever turns you on, whichever you prefer.
I'll do shoes.
Okay. All right. So you need to survey the wreckage. It looks like, quite honestly, it did not come down at speed and tear into the ground and dig a furrow. It looks like it fell.
Okay.
All right. So it hit belly first, and the upper levels of it collapsed down in from the fore, so it's pancaked in a sense, and so there's not a lot of wreckage scattered widely. Just a fairly large ship that has fallen. And it's probably possible to calculate how far it needs to have fallen in order to be destroyed like this, but
well, that's disturbing. So it's either some sort of catastrophic failure on the ship systems as it was taken off or hovering, or it got shut down by something. So again, be on the lookout, Marines.
Okay. So work together. Baxter's on point. Baxter, perception, please.
Okie dokie.
So you're adding assistance dice from the rest of your small squad.
Yeah, of course. One each. Woo! That's a big dice pool, man.
Don't forget your stress from the alien.
Oh, I have not forgotten my stress. And
2. Okay. First thing that becomes apparent once you're down on the ground and able to investigate is that it's been here long enough to be partially overgrown. And
late,
covered with blowing dust. It's decades or more, right? It's rusted, it's corroded. Some of the bright colors aren't paint, they are corrosion and decay. And there's no sign of survivors setting up camp. There's no campsites, tent sites, campfires, right? The remains of any of this. So that's the exterior. The second item is that there do not seem to be any access points cut out of the ship. There's lots of ways for you to figure out how to get into the ship, but it doesn't seem like anybody trapped inside opened an ejection port, opened an airlock, cut through a bulkhead or any of those things.
Nope.
We're
late and they're all dead.
We're here to look for survivors, but it doesn't look like there's been anybody around for a while.
Should we try to get the ship's black box out of the wreckage? Maybe learn something?
I mean, and that ship looks like a Terran ship, right? The wrecked one.
Yeah, it's even flying American colors.
Then we should, go.
Just try to figure out where they came from and why they were here.
Right. So maybe there's a flight recorder or something. Some hard drive we could recover and plug up to our systems and extract some data.
Who do you send in, Kaminski?
Us, man. We're the player characters.
Right.
Of course.
Right, sure.
Closest entrance. I'll go. But geez,
okay.
Dave, you want to bring the entire hard drive, Bodie? That's going to take like 3 or 4 of us to carry out.
No, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not the Comtech here. There's got to be something in there we can salvage.
Okay. So you make your way in, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy, and it requires a lot of stopping and starting, and using the cutting tool, using the blowtorch, right, to make access and egress from certain zones possible. And once you're inside the ship, you find remains, right? Skeletal, highly corrupted remains, not all of which look human.
What do you mean corrupted?
The hell?
Decayed.
Decayed. Okay, what about the ones that don't look human? What the hell do they look?
Well, they look like they're made of human parts. They just don't look like they're arranged in human fashion.
Okay.
Patch, what do you make of this?
So
You're the medical dude. Come on.
So Were they arranged this way or did they die this way?
Well, there's still, suggestion of original tissue, right? But this was definitely not a bacteria-free environment, right? It wasn't an ideal preservation situation. So that's why I like the word corruption to really suggest the unpleasantness of the decay. But
which can I go to one that
like someone came along later and
right
stuff around? Yeah.
Right, but
so I want to go to the one that looks the most, for lack of a better word, effed up, and you get a much closer look. So first of all, which one does look like the most rearranged or misaligned? Or
well, let's say, imagine someone walking crab-like, right? But not with their belly down, with their back down.
Nice.
And the pelvis, the attachment of the pelvis to the spine elongated in such a way that the pelvis can be upright in a very unnatural fashion. And the neck elongated in such a way that the person could have viewed down the length of their body forward.
Yeah, we got things like ligaments or something like that to suggest this is actually how these things are connected. That's
I think that's exactly what I'm seeing. Sarge, something ain't right here.
And
this is
I'll say,
yeah, this is what this thing was when it died.
so there's aliens in this universe. So do we have an inkling of any species that might be known to mankind that resemble this thing?
These were human.
These were human.
Oh,
there are remnants of the uniform.
It says McCready on the uniform.
So my second mother-in-law, actually, Cody, but very similar. But other than that, wasn't my third.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe we can snap some pictures of this, and then we can see if we can find the black box or whatever equivalent there is. Flight recorder.
Sorry, can I bag one of these?
So if you're sure it's completely dead, go for it.
That's what I want to do. Is I want to try to, if we've got any body bags or anything or something I can put this thing in, I want to take one of these things back with me.
Roll
for the Nobel Prize patch.
Medical tech.
Medical tech. So, so Comtech or medical aid?
Medical aid.
Okay. So it's going to be 5 base from the empathy, 3 for medical aid, and then 1 stress. 1 success.
Okay. You think that's going to be enough, that 1 success?
To try to, it depends. I mean, I'd like to find the bag or to be able to.
No, to successfully bag the object.
So obviously I want to try to preserve its current condition as much as possible. I don't know if I could see some things breaking off with only 1 success.
Well, how concerned are you about contamination or cross-contamination?
I would have worn gloves.
Okay.
Says the man after the fact. That's it. 6 successes, you might actually bring him back to life. It really looks dead, Sarge.
So it's possible with a lot of force to get it into a body bag.
Okay.
The black box procedure is much easier. Right. The cockpit, although damaged, I mean, the black box is designed with crashes in mind, and it's kept in a standard location, even a ship as old as this one, because you're now starting to figure out that this goes to the earliest days of FTL travel. right? This is a very, very expensive, very, very tastefully laid out ship from before you were born. What's left of it.
Kaminski, I think this thing's even older than you.
Impossible.
And this Zeta Reticuli system is full of strange stuff.
Very, very expensive ship. Probably full of very, very expensive stuff, but that's a different game.
Okay. So then again, the context like, okay, Sarge, we got it ready. You know.
All right, then let's get out of here.
You want to play the fight recorder now? See what happens?
We can play it on the way. I think we're gonna have time.
Right on, Sarge.
Hopefully it has logs and maybe somebody can fill us into what the hell is going on here or what went on here.
Okay.
Wait.
Hey, Sarge, my only thing, Sarge, is that I don't think that this black box ain't going to tell us what happened after. Right.
Anthony seems to be muted.
No, I just said okay with no volume. Like,
there you go.
I mean,
so what do you want to do? You want to hear to you want to listen to it now?
I don't know. Sarge, do we care about this? I mean, it's not any stranger than what we saw not too long ago. Except this is human. It comes down to whether we care or not, Sarge. That's your call.
Well, if there's a log or something detailing their plans, we might hear it. I mean, unless if there's something in the log indicating that they've gone underground or sought refuge in one of those caves, we might still attempt to look for survivors. But this is really old. This would be like if anybody survived, we'd be looking for what? Their children, their grandchildren.
Yeah, my initial thought was bringing the news back to whoever they left behind, so they'd know what would happen. Yeah. But my only suggestion is we're gonna play this log. This is probably not the place. No popcorn here.
Is that black box going to have everything, Sarge, or are you looking for like captain's logs or something, Patch? You looking for any other personal logs?
Yeah, can the context pull something else? There's got to be records somewhere here. I mean, either this distortion happened before it fell or after it fell.
The ship is destroyed and has been here for a very long time, right? The black box you can recover because it's designed to withstand such things, but sensitive computer equipment surviving in this environment, it's a non-starter. Yeah. The context don't want to try. Like, it's impossible. But digging,
you know what it means when an IT guy says impossible, Patch?
This you could do.
I'm good, Baxter. I'm good, Sarge. We got what we got. We got what we could.
Good questions, but all right, let's get out of here. You ready with that body bag, Patch?
All right. On the way out, could everyone give me an individual perception check, please?
Of course.
And we got one stress. So
I have two. An observation. Okay.
Yeah, observation.
All right.
Nothing.
I got 3 successes and a face hugger.
Well, why is he so stressed?
But 3 minus 2 is 1, so we're fine.
All right. But yeah. As you make your way back out of the ship the way that you came, right? There is a sense, right, that in some of the corpses, there is the glittering black suggestion of the ooze or the goo.
Hey, Sarge, look at this. Now I'm second guessing whether we want to put this on the plane or not.
I say we shouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take some pictures.
If that thing was crawling up the tower, like Baxter said, that must be some sort of organism.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, I don't know, an amoeba or something.
Yeah, I'm going to we're down a bag. I'm going to leave it here, take some pictures.
Good choice.
Okay.
Make sure you get my good side, man.
And do you leave this world behind?
Yes.
Probably a good idea.
I don't know, Anthony, do we?
Do you try,
try.
to leave this world behind?
We try.
We will attempt to leave this world behind.
Okay.
It's not the nicest one. We visited and we've been to some hellholes.
No, I like it here, man. It's cool. Great. I mean, when have you last seen weather like this? Perfect. And I love the natives.
So
I mean, these bodies are distorted, Baxter, but they got more bones than you do.
Oh, in your face.
Love you too, Patch.
Leaving the body bag behind, you make your way back across the beautiful field, right, to the Mantis and reboard. And Mantis Jumper greets you with the notation that signs of energy output are slowly starting to scale up in the nearby buildings.
All of them?
Well, there's only so far she can scan. So in the nearby buildings.
Energy output.
But this is bad. I think we should move. If we're going to get out of this planet, we should move now. We don't know if that ship was shot down. So, you know.
Or some EMP pulse or something. Let's go.
Right. Let's go and be ready for anything.
Okay. So nobody relaxes until you break atmosphere. The broadcast tower is still, sending its signal, right? And now you're out in open space, right? You can see the huge disk of Kalpamos, right? Behind you, you can see the nearer sun, the nearer of the Zeta Reticuli twins, and you can see the glitter of the farther one. And in a sense, the galaxy is your oyster.
Allergic to seafood. All right, guys. Time for night going to Galveston. Is that our plan, Sarge, still?
Yep. Let's set course for New Galveston.
Fajitas.
Okay.
Can I do Anthony, before while this is happening, I want to kind of check everybody out that was anywhere near these bodies.
Sure, of course you can. You're the medic, and you've got to check everybody before they go into.
And while he's doing that, we'll see if we can take a look at the data we got from the ship.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So medical for me, Anthony.
Yeah, let's do the medical check first.
I'm going to have to push it. So first, just a cursory look is not getting me anything.
But it makes you nervous.
Well, yeah, it does. I'm to the point where I'm going to succeed because of my stress.
Okay. So after you check everybody over, right, it's time to prepare the hypersleep pods. for the several month journey to New Galveston, right? And as I sadly bring this very short session to a close because of life and circumstances, we have an image of Patch, right? His face reflected in the glittering coolness of the hypersleep pod as he's in there alone. And something slithers across the surface of his own eye. Or did it?
It's a floater, man. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's cool. It's just a floater.
I get a roster list for the other people in cryo.
Every wake up 3 months from now, hey, Patch don't look so good, man.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing. Like
Patch the NPC doesn't look so good.
We got a bunch of Marines in cryo, right? So let's. I'm going to update my third backup character who died, and rename him, and keep him on the rotation.
I'm going to do a little character creation between now and next session.
Did Patch's head always attached to his legs like that?
Well, I hope you enjoyed this brief foray into the Primrose Path
cool.
to Hell.
That's cool.
That was good. It's good.
Yeah, good.
You packed a good bit into 45 minutes to an hour, my friend.
All right.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I'd love to stay in chat, but I have to eject. So I will see you guys soon. Thanks a lot for playing just for this little bit.
Take care.
Good to see you guys. Be bad.
Yeah.